What's going on, Will?
What's good? What's good with you,
You tell me, man.
man? Everything for
You
me right
tell
now, man.
me. I
Everything right
see.
now.
That boy got that
Everything.
old school San Fran
You know how to,
on.
you know how to drop the throwback on you, man. It's about that time we make our run. You know how it is.
Oh, it's by that time.
Always
Oh, so
about
you
that
ain't gonna
time,
waste no time. Let's
man.
get
Look,
into it then. We're gonna talk about the game and well, whatever that was, because I don't consider it a game, man.
it was a game. It was a game, man. It definitely was that,
It was that.
man. It
You
was
think
that,
so?
man. Almost killed
Hey. CMC was back, and I find it strange. He picked that particular game to come back. He was like, you know what? Everybody else getting off on the Bucks. Let me go and come back this week, man. So my number can get up. Let me go and get a refresher. Let the league
hey,
know who I am before we dive into this divisional play. And he did just that, man.
man. Had to,
Yeah.
man.
What
Had
you
to,
think about
man. But you know what, man? That honestly, I think that's in line with for anybody that's familiar with the Niners. I mean that's in line with what Kyle does when guys get hurt, especially when you have a late bye and consider how we was playing going into the postseason. You hope to get all your guys back, as many guys as possible. I think he held out a lot of guys. I mean, he wasn't the only guy that came back that had been out. Jawan Jennings was out, CMC, a couple DTs we had, and I just think that was just in line with everything he's been doing since he got to San Francisco. So I think it was just good to have him back out there. I mean, he's spared his reps a little bit. He didn't play him as much as I think he wanted to, but I think it was smart. I think they kept making mention during the game of the weather, so trying to make sure that he didn't burn himself out too early, mess
it? Yeah.
around with dehydration and stuff like that. I don't know what the weather was. I know you was at the game, so it looked hot.
Well, hey, Tampa different.
Hey,
Tampa
so you know
different.
what
That's
I'm
all I'm
saying.
gonna say. Yeah.
In the player's mind, you want to get out there, you want to get right to it. But obviously, coaches they think differently. They're thinking long term. So I think them playing him with controlled minutes and giving him the carries that they gave him, I think it was pretty good. I don't. He was effective. I mean, he made some real big plays for us, especially in the passing game. I think that's where we missed him the most. But I think he definitely made his mark on the game, considering how much time he played.
Absolutely. Y'all only rush for 75 yards, but you
Definitely.
average 7 yards a rush. You was averaging seven a pop.
Yeah.
So come on now. And like you
I mean,
said, he was definitely effective in the passing game, and he clearly showed that Levante David, that's my dog, love him, but that age done caught up with him because McCaffrey hit him with an out and up. Oh my God.
but you know what,
Woo.
man? I'm gonna say something, man. Levante was a problem the whole game in the run game. I mean, that dude made some plays, man, and that was a big fear for me coming into the game was him and Vita Vea. You know what I'm saying? Vita just a dog. I mean, he's so underrated when we talk about some of the best D tackles in the league. I think because a lot of times they're not playing in a lot of meaningful games as of late. People forget about how impactful Vita Vea is. Him, Dexter Lawrence, and them guys. They fly under the radar when you talking about their impact on pass rushing and run stopping the run game. And I think with Vita in there because he been down too. So with him
Yeah.
having been back too, I think that allowed Levante to just run a little bit more freely through them gaps. And I mean, there was some gaps. I mean, so I think in the run game, he was incredibly efficient. And I mean, considering that y'all a team that ranks 30th in defense and yards allowed and stuff like that, I mean, it didn't look like it to me at all. We struggled in the run game, in my opinion. I mean, we had some good runs. There was a couple gashes here and there. But I think they played exceptional defense.
You do? Because
I
all
do.
I saw was I saw a couple of Jags, just some guys on your
I mean,
team running freely. Shout out to Pearsall, man. Hey, way to come back
oh
and
yeah, definitely.
and do your thing. But I did not expect that. I'm like, come on. We got
I mean,
Winfield and Whitehead in the secondary. He made Winfield look like he wasn't the best safety in the league. Well, at least let me rephrase that. He getting paid as the best safety, but he didn't look like that yesterday. He did not,
I,
man. I was so upset. That was
I,
crazy.
I think as a fan of your team, especially when you lose, it's easier to pick stuff like that. I think when me and you watch the game, I'm definitely I always tell people I don't watch the game and just watch it. I analyze it too. I think them guys played good, man. And looking back at the game, I mean, he blitzed 63% of the time. I mean,
You
he
know
was
why?
bringing the house. Well,
You
I
know
know
why?
that you have to supplement what you're doing on the back end, and also have to make up for what you ain't doing in the run game. But I mean,
Oh my
again,
goodness.
I think that comes with that's the mo y'all been playing with the entire season. But also, that's Ty Bowles' mo. I mean, since he's been in Tampa, he ain't never sat back and let a quarterback chill. His whole scheme is built on attacking the quarterback, run blitzing, pass blitzing off the edges, and I mean he had some opportunities in that game. I mean Brock was he was moving, he had to move, and there was some free rushes coming off the edges. It was free rushes coming up the middle. They got some penalties for him because again, y'all was blitzing crazy. Every time that man dropped back, it's no telling where they was coming, where they was going to sit back and let him throw. And I think Todd came into the game wanted to keep him uneasy, and I think he did that.
He blitzed because he was covering up the secondary and our linebackers. They can't cover to save their life. So you have to blitz when you don't have DNs that can get after the quarterback. Yaya let me down yesterday. Joe
Yeah,
Tryon, he got a sack yesterday, but Joe Tryon is one of those guys you got to scheme in order to get him
right.
open. He
I
ain't
did.
gonna beat a tackle. He's not
Yeah,
gonna
I
beat a
definitely seen.
tackle one on one.
I definitely seen a lot of stunts up front. He was trying to manufacture a blitz, trying to keep the offensive linemen from getting their protections right. I don't think the
Yeah,
center, we don't have a great center, so I think he did again at that. And that a lot of times knowing your people, and we say in the Marine Corps, know your personnel and deploy them to their capabilities.
capabilities.
He's well aware of where he's lacking, and I think also consider you know Brock did have over 353 yards passing. So, and I didn't see it personally. I didn't see the 350 plus, and I don't know where it came from. I know there was some big plays out there in the a yak game, which was something we had been lacking on all season. The yak was crazy, especially with Kittle, like you said, with Pearsall. Debo got one off. And I think a lot of times when you blitz, it's like you said, you do leave a lot open. It's high, high risk, high reward, but it definitely didn't work out for y'all in the passing game yesterday.
Yo, he threw the kitchen sink at y'all. He threw the kitchen
Everything
sink, and Brock Purdy. They got him a couple of times. I mean,
they did.
Khalid got him on a sack or whatever,
Yep.
but he was unbothered. He was literally
Yeah.
unbothered.
A
That
lot
boy
of times
footwork in the pocket is. I was watching his footwork in his pocket. I didn't mean to cut you off with his
no, you
footwork
good.
in the pocket. He's smooth. He's smooth, man. Like the way the boy moved in the pocket, and the way man, it was hard to watch him do that to my team. It
Yeah.
was hard, and my whole thing about that was they blitz because we can't cover shit. They can't cover to save their life, man. Only corner we got is McCullum. McCullum is
Yeah.
top 5 corner, but even he was. It was an off game for our key players like McCullum,
Right.
Levante. Yaya was quiet. Didn't even hear his name called at all on defense. Didn't even hear his name. Then we brought the rookie corners in, Barnes and Thunderbird, man. Them boys got ate up. And they was
Yeah.
killing us over the middle like everybody do all year. They kill us over the middle. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's huge too, man. Considering that y'all was coming off a short week, considerably having played 84 defensive snaps on Monday night. I mean, I actually thought it would be a track meet. I thought our offense would come out there and put up big points and not play down. I think we really played down considering that y'all was coming off a short week and y'all played a lot of dang on defensive snaps coming in that Monday night game. So I mean, I really, really thought the game would look differently with us coming off a bye, having that extra time to prepare, get healthy, get them young guys. Obviously, with us missing Brandon Ayuk, it's hard to try to get these other guys that aren't used to getting meaningful time, trying to get them prepared. But I still thought with CMC coming back, George Kittle and Debo being out there, even Jawan, I still thought the game would look a lot differently. I thought we would have a huge offensive advantage. I really didn't see it. I mean, obviously we left a lot of points on the field, which has been something we've struggled with in the red zone. being one of the lowest ranked teams offensively in the red zone, but at the same time being the second ranked offense in the league. I don't know how that worked, but have being the second ranked offense but being the 22nd red zone offense. It's kind of weird. But when you again, our kicker struggled, so it was a lot of stuff that we could have had worked out for us. It didn't work out.
Y'all see how he like to politely sneak this when he talking to you. Y'all see what he did? Like we left points out there, or whatever. He expected a bigger showing, and that's what he does. Politely, he
No.
disrespects. But no, I concur with everything you said. We were like, I expected a blowout. Like you said, we had played Monday, or whatever. So we coming into that game, they morale is down. They don't believe in the coach anymore because the word on the street here, we want that. I almost called him something. We want him gone yesterday. He got to go, man. His record now is 21-23 as a head coach. 21-23. It's time to go, big dog. Plus, you got Liam coming in on the offensive side, and Liam is doing his thing. Offense, I'm not too concerned with. Like I said, that was an off game for the team yesterday. They looked weird. Like there was no receiver sighting in the game. When you watch the game, like I know you did, we was Bucky, Rashad White, Otten. Bucky, Rashad White, Otten. Bucky, Rashad White, Otten. When you gonna throw it down the field? You got receivers out there. Are they that horrible? You know what I mean? That was weird to me. Like y'all didn't attempt not one down the field throw. That was crazy. But Baker was doing his thing. He threw for 215 yards, and I'm gonna say this: Baker's a dog. I don't care what nobody else say. Baker's a dog. He got it. He our franchise quarterback for the next 2 years, so I'm gonna roll with him. I like what he's doing.
Man,
the offense shouldn't have struggled like that bad. Will you know what I mean? When your 1 and 2 go down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one of them got to step up. Wide receiver 3 through 7, they were MIA. I just don't get it. But hey, we moving on with that. We're gonna see what happens because they got an easy schedule. We got. Go ahead.
No, I honestly, I agree and disagree. I think underrated. Man, if I was a team with a young quarterback like a Caleb or somebody where you don't know, you don't really have an offensive identity, I'm looking at Kime's offensive creativity with Cade and with Bucky and White. I mean, the dude was his run game is super creative. I mean, it's so much window dressing. It keeps the defense unbalanced. I mean, it's disciplined, and as veteran as our defense is, I mean, this dude offensive creativity was next level. And I know he's done some work. I know he came from Kentucky, and I know he did. I know he worked a lot with Sean McVay. But you see it. You see it. I mean, the creativity in the run game. I mean, there was some stuff out there, man. They was gashing us. I honestly wish they would have, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I wish they would have just kind of stuck with the run game a little bit more. There was a lot of meat left on that bone. It looked like for a point that y'all were gonna just keep running it. I mean, y'all had a drive there at the end of the game where y'all were just running it at will. Y'all were giving it straight to us, and obviously as the game kind of got away from a time standpoint, it put Baker in passing situations. But I don't understand how we as a defense come into that game not understanding that Cade Otton is going to be the primary target, and he ate. That offense was going to run through Cade and was going to run through Bucky Irvin. And I don't understand how we didn't bracket him in, try to keep him at bay. And I mean, Baker made some great tight window throws to him, some throws that, I'm not gonna lie, I'll keep it a buck with you. I've never been a fan of Baker Mayfield. I never thought he was that guy. Ever. I thought he was certified trash. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't high on him coming out of Oklahoma. I thought he was trashed in, and I think coaching makes a difference. Coaching and taking a player and putting weapons around him makes a tremendous difference. And I mean, he's a dark horse MVP candidate. He really has to be a dark horse MVP candidate. I mean, coming into the week, he led the league in touchdowns.
Yeah,
he's led the league in touchdowns.
He was the MVP candidate till we went on this 4-game losing streak. So
they're not going to give it to him. I mean, bro, and they probably not. But Buddy out there making plays, man. I mean, the play with Nick Bosa, the throw there at the end of the game,
Yeah.
just everything. Willing that team down into the red zone to get that kick to even get into a situation to a potential overtime. That whole drive was Baker Mayfield. That whole entire drive was Baker Mayfield, getting outside the pocket, making plays in the pocket, making all the right reads at the right time. He didn't turn over the football, which was huge. We didn't come away with any interceptions. And again, I think that's him understanding what the game plan was going into that game, was not putting the ball in harm's way. Don't give our opportunistic defense a chance to make plays on the ball. He played great to me. He played great to me. I came away very, very impressed with Mayfield, and I have been for the entirety of the season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he definitely impressing me. I'm good. I'm good on the QB situation. We just gotta sure up who the coach is gonna be moving forward after this season, and we'll go from there, man. We got a lot of young players, and they believe in it, drafting good. But hey, I don't mean to switch gears, bro. This draft coming up, trash. 1 through 5, then that's it. I don't know anybody else. Anybody else,
Oh yeah,
man.
honestly, and I don't know if I don't know I don't know if Todd Bowles is the problem, and I say that because when I look at the team, I didn't get some of the free agent, the guys that y'all released, like Carlton Davis, a big fan of his. I don't understand why you let guys like that go. I'm not completely sure what happened with the whole Devin White situation, and I know he got kicked off Philly. I know he up in Texas right now. I'm not understanding what that whole situation was about. I don't know why they just didn't put him under the wing of Levante a little more and try to keep developing him. Again, maybe you see it differently than I do. I thought the defense for a while under Todd Bowles have been playing at a high level. Obviously, lacking a pass rush is huge. You need a guy. Everybody has a guy. Every team that's contending has a guy that can get after the quarterback. And in this league, the way these quarterbacks play, you got to be able to have a guy. And if you don't have a guy, man, you're not going to be able to compete. But I think going into, obviously, before y'all lost Godwin and those guys, man, I mean, y'all were right there. I mean, y'all came off, y'all beat the Lions, right? I mean, y'all beat Washington, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, these are teams that everybody else has struggled beating. And when they playing good, when they're playing at their best. So, I don't think that Todd Bowles is necessarily a problem. I think y'all need an influx of talent to come in and stabilize, to fill them holes that y'all got. Obviously, you want to be better offensively when you have your 1-2 go down. But, I mean, that's asking any quarterback in the league to do a lot. Or
definitely
coordinator in the league to do a guy, because I mean Sterling Shepard is just we know he's a jag. I mean, but there's supposed to be chemistry there because they've played together for a long time. So you'd hope that they're able to get a little bit more out of him. But again, people don't sometimes understand the difference between a 1, because if we being honest, Godwin's a 1 on any other team in the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
We already know what Mike Evans brings. So there's a significant gap between 1 and 3 on most NFL teams in the league. I would say all of them.
All of them,
and when you talk about, and a lot of teams just got 1 and then a huge gap between 2. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. At health, who has a better receiver core than y'all outside of probably Philly?
Nobody.
Exactly.
But you're right.
So
speaking of Jags, though, we're gonna talk about a guy that's not a Jag. Debo.
Oh yeah.
Yo, did you see Debo cutting up on the sideline?
Dog.
That's what I'm talking about. We don't have one of those. And like to tie back in with Devin White, like you said, Devin's a dog, but it was a money issue and how he handled the situation. He burnt the bridge and they moved on. I thought even during the season, because he went to Philly and he didn't get to play, dispute there. He couldn't beat out the younger guy at linebacker, Dean or whatever. So they bought him out. He bought it. They let him get out of his contract and then he ended up signing with Texas. At that point, Will, I thought because we had just got murdered by Atlanta over the middle. Kenny Britt, worst linebacker in the league. Go check his PFF. 0.34. 0.34. He's just a good run fit. Kenny Britt can't cover at all. So Pitts exposed him, then everybody followed suit. They start, hey, we can beat him over the middle. That's what started happening. And they kept playing Britt, man. And everybody like, dude, we got to have somebody else. Russell, other backup linebacker, he could cover. He just can't tackle. So they finally started rotating them in against y'all. But it took 4 games for them to realize, well, we already knew Britt was nothing. So, at that time, we was like, man, please bring Devin White back. Please, man. He on the street. Go get him. This is a freak.
Yeah.
And him and Bowles got that relationship. That's like his mentor. He good with the team. He still talk with the team. That's the dog that y'all missing on defense, man. Levante able to do what he do when Devin is, on his left-hand side. And Devin is able to do what Devin does because Levante got his slack.
Right.
But, yeah, Debo killing us. Yak. We were talking about that earlier. Yak. That's all Debo was doing was yak. But on that sideline, he was getting that yak, too. Hey, how you going to punch the long snapper?
Hey, man, I was having a conversation with a boy of mine about the same thing, man. I'm all about it. At this point of the season, considering how we've gone throughout this season, what our record is, how we've lost the games that we've lost. I heard Cal talk about how this team should inevitably be about 6-2. At worst, we dropped a game against Arizona. We dropped those games against the Rams, and those are games we should have won. We lost those games a lot of times because of special teams, and I think that is a culmination not just of this season, but it's a follow up until it's from a continuation from last season. Moody has struggled, and it's unfortunate because we spent the 3rd round pick on him. So, and that's really high for a kicker. That's incredibly high. That's significant draft capital for a kicker. Would I take a kicker at 3? Hell no. But you know what I'm saying? And further, we went out and got free agents once he got hurt, and they've played significantly better than he has. So, but you're invested. You're invested. And I think, when you miss one kick, it's like, all right, when you miss 2, it's like, all right, come on.
Take it off.
Take it off. Hey, let me go pat him on the back. Hey man, lock in, And that 3rd one out. Now, 3 strikes, you get slapped.
Hey, those were makeable field goals too. It was like 100%. I couldn't believe it. Like, what are you 100%. Doing? But y'all drafted him in the 1st round?
In 3rd round.
The last time a kicker was drafted that high, we drafted him. And
yeah. And
Aguayo,
yeah. Man, look, and that's the thing that people, kickers only got one job. I'm not saying I ain't no kicker. However, when you're a skills player, you an offensive lineman, whatever, you're required to do so much and to take in so much knowledge, understand protections, understand, route concepts, whatever it is, and you gotta go out there and kick a football. And I've heard great kickers say that many times. It's like, my only job is to go out here and to kick footballs. That's it. And when you can't go out there and do that, there's an incredible amount of frustration when you put a lot of effort into a game plan, when you're a skills player or you're a defensive player on the other end, and then your kicker go out there and he's missing kicks, especially when you're working your way up and down the field. And a lot of people say, well, the game shouldn't have came down to kicks. You should never significantly depend on the kicker. However, he's on the roster for a reason. He's being paid. I mean, it's as simple as that. A lot of games in the NFL does come down to kicking. A lot of them. Special teams will kick. We're the worst special teams unit in the league, in my opinion. We have to be bottom 3. So man, look, we got to be bottom 3, and it's far in part to the way our field goals team is doing. Obviously, kick coverage, punt coverage. We muff the punt. I mean, so you take a game where you miss 3 field goals, you muff a freaking punt. Somebody got to be slapped. A punt that led to a turnover, that led to y'all getting a touchdown. So I mean, I was all about it. Everybody up in arms about it, but I'm like, look, somebody needed to be slapped. Maybe help somebody on the other in that's about to field the kick. Maybe be like, shoot, I don't want to get slapped next either.
Hey, he was smart. He messed with the long snapper. He didn't mess with the
Oh, yeah.
kicker because he already knew the kicker needed to
Might
focus. But he
might
was
need him
sending a
later.
message.
Might need him later.
He was sending a message like, "Hey, get right, or this is for you." You know.
Oh yeah.
But hey,
Oh yeah.
overall, it was a horrible game for us. Good game for y'all. Got y'all back in the winning column just in time. I see Miami just scored, so they helping you
Mm.
out or
Oh yeah.
whatever. So I know you're looking forward to that. But with that being said, what's going on around the league, man, that you want to talk about?
Man, it's just been a weird season. A weird
I
season.
know,
Man, from the
I know.
start, we was talking about Sam Darnold out here about to look like he about to be an MVP. You know, we got Jared Goff out here. I knew he was gonna come back to earth. But I mean, it's been a crazy season. It's been a
Five
crazy season.
interceptions and you still win?
Hey,
How?
man, look, he had to, and it's crazy because when I talk about weird season, everybody came into the season. C.J. Stroud, he up there. He's one of the
Yeah.
guys. Like he's in that upper echelon. C.J. Stroud, low key he's been mid. He's been very
So,
mid. You
sophomore
know,
season, we knew it was coming, Will. We
but you
knew it.
but and that's one thing because we've heard harsh criticism about Brock Purdy from the time he took the helm in San Francisco, and a lot of times people don't understand what competent quarterback play looks like. No great quarterback has ever played in the absence of having weapons. You can't name me one great quarterback that's in the Hall of Fame that ain't had weapons, offensively or defensively. And people always, it's the way you got to point guard the game though. It takes a guy to get the ball to the right guys in the right situation. And but immediately, everybody wanted to crown CJ. I heard, Caleb Williams, who's ass. All these guys that everybody wanted to crown coming into the season, upper echelon guys, and they've been terrible.
Yeah,
They've been
they're
terrible.
guys.
Yeah, and same with Justin Herbert. And it's not for a lack of, weapons. Like I tell guys, it ain't for the lack of weapons. It's the quarterback play. When you sit back and you watch these games, it's a lot of it's quarterback play. And
Speaking of
that's why
quarterback play, what happened to Trevor? Trevor Lawrence. What the
what
bro?
happened? Hey,
What
hey,
happened?
hey, my boy Denny Green said they are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. We
They
let them
didn't pay
off.
him
Look,
like that. They
hey,
didn't pay him like that though. Like that
hey,
that's money lost.
I always say this: bad franchises do bad things. Bad franchises do bad things. It's been no surprise that Trevor hasn't been good, and the excuses are gone now. I personally think they have a top tier roster. I like the weapons that they got. I like the Brian Thomas. I like Gabe Davis. I like everything that they got out there. ETN is now taking the back seat to the running back Bigsby.
Yeah.
Um, like and even still, they got the tight end. They got everything going for them. And to me, it's come down simply to Trevor Lawrence. I don't even think Doug Peterson's a bad coach. I just generally think Trevor Lawrence is terrible. I don't know how many people you will keep firing. I
Until
mean,
you realize that it's him. Yeah,
it's him. It's
absolutely.
him. Because if you can tell me that Doug Peterson can coach Nick Foles to a Super Bowl in the middle of a season, you know what I'm saying?
With
And
Alshon Jeffries as
man,
one of
look,
you. Come on, man.
clearly it's not a coaching problem. It comes down
No.
to Trevor Lawrence, and a lot of people have not talked about it. This dude has led the league in turnovers for about 2 seasons at the quarterback position, from fumbles to interceptions. He's terrible in the pocket. He can't protect the football when he's throwing it or in the pocket. And like I said, I don't know how many people you gonna keep firing before people start talking about that Trevor Lawrence was a bust. He's a bust. He's a bust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%. And he ain't
Okay.
the only one. I think, and again, if you would have watched college football the previous season, it's no surprise that Jaden Daniels, who I thought was the best quarterback in the draft, I had Michael Penix at two. Uh, I thought Caleb was terrible at USC. I didn't like what I saw. I saw the games that he played. I know statistically he may look good on paper, But I didn't like what I saw. I thought a lot of what he did at USC wouldn't translate to the NFL, and I think we're seeing that now. And people talk about the offensive line. People talk about the scheme. I mean, bro, you got Keenan Allen, Adunze,
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore,
When
two running.
DJ Moore walked off the field in the middle of the play,
Man, look,
that tells you everything you need to know. That
and
boy,
he ain't
he stopped.
he ain't walking off because the old line ain't blocking.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't walking off because of this. I watched again. When you watch the games, you see exactly what everybody else sees. I know it's hard for a lot of people in the media to rain on this parade because he's a first overall pick, and you don't want to immediately put him down there. And obviously, you want to give him grace, but I don't see any bright spots. I see flashes of what I would see out of a highly talented and a skilled player. But that'd be like me looking at Anthony Richardson being like, yeah, his ceiling's high. But the
It's
floor
going to
is
always
really
be high.
the floor is very close to the ceiling. The floor is too close to the ceiling. And that's the problem is when you look at an athlete, you look at a guys with a lot of skill, but it's like, hey, I would take a guy like a Brock Purdy. I would take them guys, the Kirk Cousins. If you can sit in a pocket and make plays under pressure and duress, understanding that the biggest plays are going to be made in the pocket, you're going to take hits. It's going to be muddy. But every time that you get pressure, you can't immediately evade and run. Because again, you cut the field in half when you run. You cut the field
Yep.
in half, and that leaves you only looking one way. So, and that's a lot of times what I see in Caleb Williams. He can't stand in the pocket consistently and make plays down the field, and he's leaving guys wide open. And even when he does have guys open, he's not seeing the field well. You know,
Hey, that boy need LASIK like Jameis.
man, and it's
He
crazy
definitely
because
needs something.
he came and that's why I have to be a little harsh on him because he came to this league like Anthony Richardson talking about uh it wasn't that bad, it isn't that hard, told the punter, hey, don't worry about it, you won't be punting a lot this year. That's what he said, and clearly he was wrong. Clearly.
I think he meant in practice. He wouldn't be punting that
Man,
much
look,
in practice. Definitely not in
man,
the time.
something.
He's working in the game. He working in the game, boy.
Man, they went
That's
out there,
crazy.
and I mean, you have to be discouraged because Gerard Mayo's a defensive coach, and I mean, New England came out there and put that whooping on them boys. I
Yeah,
mean, they had 3 points. They had three
three.
points, and this is he's had multiple games where he's thrown under 100 yards, and I don't care how bad the system is. Again, you got Keenan Allen, you just throw it up there. You got
And
you
it's
got a
going
Dunze, like. I mean, we got some screen. This man can't even complete a screen pass. So I mean, I think their problems are deeper than what they think they is. And then a lot of people didn't want to give the same grace to Justin Fields when he was over there.
they starting to realize it wasn't Justin Fields. But have you ever imagined Devontae Adams being with Aaron Rodgers and going under 50 yards in a game?
Washed.
That boy, he worse than Wizards Jordan.
They
Aaron
both
is
washed.
he.
They both washed.
I wouldn't say
Like,
Devontae watch, man, but that A Rod,
hey, look
A
closely,
Rod looking bad, boy. He looking
man. Look,
bad.
hey, they both washed. They both wanted to come over there and be washed together. Watching that game yesterday at Arizona. It's a culmination of both of them. I mean, Devontae Adams had some plays that he missed, some balls he dropped, quite a few.
Yep.
He dropped a touchdown in the end zone. He dropped some easy outs. It's been a culmination of both. I think sometimes we look at one game. Obviously, the game prior, he had a big game, but for the most part of that first half of the last game, he was shut out. So I think a lot of times, people have a recency bias, but we have to also look at the culmination of the whole season. It was easy for Aaron Rodgers to blame Mike Williams and everybody else. Blame Robert Saleh, who I think is still a great coach. It's a culture issue over there. They got a huge culture, but to me, when you bring in a player like Aaron Rodgers, I think a lot of they reap what they sow. But again, another organization that does Jets things. They're doing Jets things. So it ain't no easy answer over there.
I knew when they fired Solomon, it was gonna be downhill from there.
Oh yeah,
I knew it. because
Oh
you
yeah,
don't get rid of a good coach like that. Robert Sala,
man.
come on to Tampa. Come on to Tampa, Robert. If you're
it,
watching this
it,
podcast, come on to Tampa. We'd be glad to
it,
have you. Because, boy,
it's crazy. It's crazy because Aaron Rodgers wanted to keep Nate Hackett, his old OC from obviously from Green Bay, that's in New York with him, to call the plays, which obviously was a point of contention between him and Robert Saleh, which ended up being the issue. That Aaron, I think, brought it up to Woody Johnson, the Jets owner, and Nate Hackett fired himself in Denver, literally. How you demote yourself in play calling duties when you came and you took the job based off the fact that you were the OC and you had all this great scheme, and then when it wasn't working out right, you demoted yourself. So
self-select.
I'm not
Self-select.
understanding again. Trash organizations doing trash things. When they went out and acquired Aaron Rodgers, is what they wanted. They brought all this energy with them. This is what happens when you let a player run your organization. And I know when Tom Brady came over to Tampa, there were some things that he wanted to do, and I know that Bruce, he kind of structured his offense a little bit around what Tom Brady does well. But I know that there was conversations between what Tom wanted, what Bruce wanted to keep in his system, and I know he also had the help of Tom Moore, who worked in Indianapolis for a long time.
He's
Tom Moore's
still
a
with
great,
us.
okay, great
He's still
passing
with us.
game guy, guru. And I know that Tom didn't come over there and say, "Hey, only move he probably made was bringing in Gronk at best," and obviously that
And
was a smart
AB.
decision.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gronk and AB.
but AB was like his roommate. They had some freaky shit going on, but but irregardless of the fact though,
Giselle.
but irregardless of that, Tom came over there and would start putting in work immediately with those guys on the offseason. Man, you got this dude Aaron Rodgers hiding in caves, eating mushrooms, didn't show up to OTAs, didn't show up to voluntary workouts. And he said, "Hey, it ain't that deep." Bro, you 40 years old and tore your Achilles. And can't nobody say nothing to you.
Nothing.
God forbid they say something to you, you're gonna want them gone too. So it was going coming into the season. There was a lot of stuff going on in the Giant with the Jets, and I mean, this is all. I mean, but again, they're irrelevant. Another irrelevant franchise.
Yeah, good thing they're not in y'all division because they would be last. But speaking of y'all division, the Cardinals, Mighty Mouse, looking like world beaters. At least
Been a
yesterday they were.
problem.
Yesterday they were.
Been a
So
problem.
y'all back on track. Second in the division with that win, huh?
Half a game back. We had, half a game
Yeah.
back. We need these Rams going to take this L tonight. I think honestly, man, you know, Kyler's just always been a dog. He's a playmaker, man. He's so underrated. He gets a lot of flack. I don't understand how you take a kid that came to one of the historically worst franchises in league history, and there's been so much expectation of Kyler, obviously considering where he was drafted and what he accomplished in college. But I think he's more than exceeded expectations. He's had a down year for the most part, but also that organization wasn't as competent up top. They fired a GM. Now they have a little bit more competency up top where they're bringing in these weapons. They let Christian Kirk go. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think Kyler's doing really well with what he has over there. I mean, McBride has to be a top 3 tight end in the league. Has to be.
He will
Has to
be.
be.
He will be.
And
Definitely.
uh, you know, so with McBride and with Harrison, James Conner's a dog, physical runner, can do anything you want him to do out the backfield. And I think Kyler's played well. I remember playing them, man, when they had now in Washington, they OC Cliff Kingsbury, who I'm actually a big fan of his scheme. I think
I
you have a young
love Cliff.
man,
Love Cliff.
incredibly creative. And I think when you have a young guy coming from the college ranks, a dude that's played a position, who also coached at the college level, he could keep things vanilla, but at the same time, his scheme is so creative. It makes easy reads for the quarterback because he spreads the field out so much. And he's even good in the run game, and that's a hard scheme to go up against. Because I mean, we dropped some games to Arizona here and there in the past when Cliff Kingsbury was the head coach over there, because sometimes you don't know what they're going to throw at you, and
Yeah.
they're very creative. And again, that's why I say the future is bright for Jaden over there because I mean that scheme is going to keep growing. The more he stays in that system, the more he's going to learn about what they do over there. That scheme is going to he's only going to get better.
Yeah, up until Liam Cohen started showing that he knew what he was doing.
Oh
Well, I
yeah,
was praying that we would at least consider Kingsbury. Then when they signed Liam, I was like, okay, McVay coaching tree. Went to Kentucky, he wasn't all that good at Kentucky. So
right.
everybody like, kind of iffy on him. But like you said, personnel matters. If you got the right scheme and Liam understands who he has, apparently, because he making Baker look, like you said, a potential MVP or whatever. So, but yeah, Kingsbury was definitely one of my choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, who y'all play Sunday, man?
man. Coming in next week, I think we got the Seahawks, man. But that's a dub. That's a dub.
I
I
don't know,
might be,
Will.
man. Look, I
I
might
don't
be somewhere
know.
else. I might be somewhere else for that game. I'm so tired of Geno Smith, overpaid. I'm not
Oh,
understanding how they
man.
gave that. I don't know how they gave that man any kind of money.
Hey,
Terrible,
what did he say? They tried to write him off or whatever. What he
man. Look,
say?
and I'm writing
He
back.
right back.
I'm writing back. You're terrible.
Hey, Gino, right back this time. You got to
them
write
letters,
back.
hey, them letters flooding his mailbox right now. Flooding. He's
Hey,
terrible,
he can't
man.
return the sender. It's too many of them.
Man, they so incompetent, man, for sitting up there playing that guy. Like sometimes you can't take one season. Gino has shown us who he is, and we're gonna
I
believe
agree.
you. My
I
grandma used to
agree.
say, once they show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. I believe in you, Gino. I know who you are. It's the same, honestly, and I feel the same way about Jared Goff. He's gonna show you who he is. It's gonna come at the right time. He's gonna show you who he is. Same thing, guys like Sam Darnold, who's also on the downside. Hey,
Yeah,
eventually,
they come. They was riding that wave, but it started to
oh
come
yeah,
down to low
and
tides.
that's been the definition. What I believe this season is going to eventually end up being. The cream is going to rise to the top. Those teams who we see as powerhouses in the NFL, this is the time of year where that run starts, where every game is a playoff game for these teams. And I think you're going to start seeing teams like Detroit, like San Francisco, these veteran teams that's constantly in the conversation outside of the Cowboys,
Who?
that are always exactly.
We, we,
Um,
we don't we don't mention them here. We just call
oh,
that team or
oh,
anything but their name. We
oh,
don't talk about them. Yeah,
very well.
yeah.
Um, Afghan's team. But we got we got Philly, who I still don't believe in. It's something
I
about Philly.
do. I believe
What do
in
you
them.
believe in? Talk to me about your belief in Philly.
My belief is this: that front four has finally waken up, right? So that's all they need. And being a DB, if the front four getting pressure, that make your job easy. So that's why Slay got paid. Let's be real. That's why Slay got the big bucks. So hear me out. So with that front four, and they're doing pretty good, even though they're not playing anybody right now. Because they played that team yesterday, and yeah. But that front four and the offense, even though the offense is boring to me, it's
Very,
boring. That there's no
very.
window dressing about that offense. But then again, you got to think they feel like they don't need window dressing. They got all these weapons. Saquon looking good. Now you got to give it to him. He got
Indeed.
out of the New York and he balling, breath of fresh air. So I think as long as they run the ball, Kellen Moore, he's scheming pretty good. He is. Now, in the beginning, I don't know what was going on. Like, was Jalen calling the plays? What's up? Because Jalen said at the beginning of the season, he just not starting to figure out, pass protection because Kelsey gone. And
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute. So Kelsey was doing everything for you. Now you got to learn. So, and I think he done figured it out. We'll see what they get as they start, getting into their divisional play. They only really got one team to worry about. That's the Commanders.
100%, 100%.
So
Philly's definitely in. They're in right now. Hopefully they'll start counting their eggs too early. But they're in. I mean, the NFC East is done. I mean, Washington, Philly's going to walk away with that. One of them's going to end up as a wild card.
Yeah,
And I think that's just the way. That's why every game, obviously, with San Francisco that we play is so critical because when the Lions win games like they did yesterday, you got teams like Green Bay, those teams, Minnesota. They're picking up those wins now. The more when you start losing games, you fall outside of the playoff picture. So I'm not saying right now we're banking on winning the division because that's too low of a standard for us. But that's why with the way these teams are playing, even with Philly playing the way that they're playing in Washington, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, we
yeah.
got to be cognizant of what we're doing too. But I honestly I look at Philly. Uh, that team is very unsexy. They lack offensive identity. They don't run Saquon enough. They don't have enough offensive creativity in the run game, in the passing game. They depend a lot on talent. And this is the same team that I saw last year. Like they lack identity offensively. And this is a team that like their record says otherwise. But and, a lot of people say, well, your record's your record. And it's not about the teams that they played, it's about how they look. You can play really, really you can play good football and have a good record, right? But I know what my eyes are telling me. I can't trust Sirianni for sure. He will lose them a game. He will lose them a game.
He they bailing him out.
Oh
The
yeah, for
team
sure.
is bailing the coach out. I ain't never seen him like this.
And
They
and,
bailing him out.
And I think Howie Roseman is going to take a big look at how he goes forward with him as if he goes forward with him as a head coach in offseason, which I don't think he will. I think they have culture issues too. And it's like you talked about in the preseason too. Jalen Hurts talked a lot about being uncomfortable. He hadn't not yet warmed up to the Kellen Moore system in the preseason. He talked a lot about that too. And I think when I talk about creativity, I mean we know what Hurts can do from as he's a dual threat passer, and they don't use him enough in the run game. A lot of the runs that he's getting aren't design run plays. They're coming off broken passing plays and things like that. When the defense have coverage, what would look like to be a coverage sack situation for most quarterbacks, Jalen's able to make plays with his legs. And what I don't think that they do is they don't design enough run plays for him. Because if you look at the previous season when they had Gannon and they had old boy over there that's now in over in Indianapolis, like offensively they look way different. When Jalen got paid, I mean he was running the ball, he was doing a lot of things differently. And right now we're looking at a dude to me that they're trying to make him more of this in the pocket passer. And that's something that I fear with Kellen Moore because sometimes coaches can fall in love with their own scheme and they don't look at a player and says, man, we're going to use him to what he does best. And that's what I think makes Andy Reid so much different than any coach in the league. Outside of, to me, him and Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, they look at a quarterback and they say, hey, man, what do you do well? What do you do well? What are things you like to do? Because I can look at Alex Smith. People forget that was an 11-win team constantly under Alex Smith when he was in Kansas City. He settled Alex Smith down. He looks at Mahomes and say, man, you do this well. Let me allow you to do this. I gave Kyle Shanahan his credit because, hell, in the middle of the season, he went from Robert Griffin running a read option type offense to with Kirk Cousins running a traditional drop back and pass West Coast offense right instantaneously in the middle of the season. And that's
Yeah,
coaching. And that's where I think that's a big problem when I look at Philly is they don't have enough creativity. And to me, I mean, AJ Brown should be up. He's paid like an upper echelon receiver, but he's not used like an upper echelon receiver. This dude should be getting tunnel screens. He should be running those. He should be doing everything. Everything. His body type is insane. Insane. He's a weapon.
that's a specimen right there. That's a specimen. DK Metcalf they thought was it, but AJ Brown was really that
Man,
dude.
and,
Really
and,
that
and
dude.
I wasn't the biggest fan out of DK in college because again my thing was the running past people. He was like a 3-4 route pony. AJ Brown was used at South Carolina. I mean he was used, and I still think when I look at AJ Brown, he was just more of a refined product because I know him and Debo, they all came out around the same time. They were
Hold
just
up,
different
play.
type of guys.
Where you think AJ Brown came from? What
Oh,
college he
what
go
school?
to? Yeah,
AJ Brown was at, where was he at?
Ole Miss, baby.
Ole Miss. I don't know why I thought South
Him and
Carolina.
DK played together.
Yeah, they did. I remember him, DK. I forgot they took that little pre-draft picture.
Put some
But
respect on our name, baby.
hold up, I forgot you,
Put
old
some
clay,
respect on
clay.
our
You old
name.
red clay dirt eating.
Call
Look,
it what
no,
you
no, but
want. Ask
hey,
Georgia. Ask Georgia.
hey, man, look, don't get them boys started on here. You know, they up. You know, them Georgia boys up there with them Afghan team.
Yeah, the African teams, right?
They with up there with them terrorist squads.
Yeah, man.
Man, I
So,
got a question for you though. I got a question.
what you
So
got?
so, what direction? If you were on the Cowboys right now, what direction would you take? I mean, we got to talk about it. What direction? Looking at everything, what would you do?
I'm gonna fire the head coach.
Mm,
First of all, I'm gonna fire the head coach. And unpopular opinion, I'm gonna fire the GM.
look, you
And we
can't fire
know
the
who the
GM. He own the
GM
team.
is.
He own the team. You can't
Hey,
fire
you
owners.
ask you ask me what would I do? So
Got
if that's the case, then that means it's my team. I'm not gonna be the GM. I ain't gonna be all in the videos, make like
dancing
Suge
in the
said.
back.
Hey, I ain't gonna be
All in the
all in front of
video,
the press,
dancing in the back.
Yeah, and then going on the radio show every week. I'm
Man,
on the show, not Mike McCarthy, but me. I'm on
right.
the show. Come on, man. So your players see that they don't respect the head coach because they know everything coming from from the top. You ain't running the show. So if I want to win, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna humble myself, Jerry. Give me a GM, and I'm gonna fall back, man. Bro, you 80
Mhm.
years old with like a 20-year-old girlfriend. Go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that for
Go
sure.
enjoy.
For sure.
Yeah. Just show up, man. Come on. Like, hey,
Yeah,
what we doing today, fellas? I bet. I'm out. I'm good,
but
man.
I'm actually this because you a baller. You know how you feel about Dak as a quarterback?
I got no issues with that.
Me either.
I got no issues with that whatsoever. Let him go. See what happens.
Exactly.
Let him go. Let him go. That
Exactly.
boy won't be on the market long.
Yeah,
Hey, the moment he set foot out of Cowboy State, that phone is blowing up. Like, hey, where you
man,
want to go? I
man.
know some teams that'll get rid of their quarterback for him
Real quick, real quick.
immediately. Yeah.
And you know
So,
and that's what I tell people. You know, so many people. It's so easy to blame the quarterback for everything, and people forget. Me, and you know the difference a coach can make. You put Dak Prescott in the right situation, with the right system around him. A coach that says, "Hey, this is what you can't do. This is what you need to do," and it's competent too. This is a dude that wins on average 12 games a year. Like,
hey, I'm glad you said that, Will. Put him with the right coach. Look at Russell Wilson and
man,
Mike Tomlin. Look at Russell Wilson and Mike Tomlin. Hey, sleeper. I'm gonna tell you now.
oh, they ain't sleeping.
Sleeper.
They ain't sleep.
Some
I
people
mean, look,
sleeping on him.
as long as Mike Tomlin is coaching the team in the NFL, that team don't sleep. That's not a sleeper because I'm a big Kyle Shanahan guy. Kyle always talks about how when he was with Tampa, how he would sit back and watch Mike Tomlin and Mike, he was sitting next to Mike Tomlin in Tampa in the meeting room, and
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan told him, if you ever want to be a good OC in this league, you have to learn everything about defense in this league. And he said he would sit back and he would sit next to Mike Tomlin, and Mike would teach him everything about defense, all these schemes, all the rules, how coaches try to break these rules on the offensive side of the ball. Mike Tomlin is such a renaissance man when it comes to coaching, his culture. And people don't say culture wins games. Culture
Culture
is what
matters.
culture is what wins championships. Those players love that dude. They respond to him. They love that dude. He's in complete control of everything that goes on with that ball club. And Mike Tomlin does not. Every year I hear people trying to clamor for this man's job. I'm not sure why. I really don't understand why, but he finds a way to be plus 500 or at 500 every freaking year, even when the expectation is not to be. And
Yeah.
they have slowly over the past few months, starting when the time when they acquired both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, they were slowly building a juggernaut, and they built one. They built one. Uh, I mean, acquiring pass rushers, just getting that deep, and they're going to get healthy. And when they get healthy, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be even more of a problem.
They got the Ravens on Sunday. I'm
They're
interested
going to
in
beat the
seeing that
Ravens.
game. I think so. I believe so. I'm here
They're going to beat
for
the
it.
Ravens. They're gonna
I'm here
force the
for
Ravens. They're gonna slow the game down. They're gonna run that football. Them old school, the ones we used to watch in Okie, them old school Ravens, Pittsburgh
it. Yeah.
games. It ain't gonna be no throwing the ball all over the field. It's gonna be some defense.
Hold up.
And
I disagree. I
man, look,
disagree. That Ravens pass defense is suspect. Will it's suspect this year.
and,
And
and, and
what's
Kyle
his
Hamilton
name?
out. Kyle Hamilton out.
Yeah, Hamilton hurt. So
Yeah,
I think they gonna really throw the ball. I
you
think
think so?
so, man. I think so. And I'm even going to live and say Russell have a breakout game.
Mm,
I am
that'd be
three
interesting.
TDs, three TDs at least.
Whew.
That's
I'm
his
a,
minimum.
look. I'm
Three,
gonna mark that down.
It's recording. We got it. It's recorded. It's recorded. Will be published. Three TD. Russell gonna have a good game. He gonna
Mm.
have a good game. And
And,
like you say,
and,
they're gonna beat the Ravens. So that means Lamar gonna stink up the joint on Sunday. He
mm.
got to. I think Henry, he gonna get off. They gonna because they gonna run the ball because Lamar gonna be having a bad game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So some guys just gonna eat anyway. Some guys just gonna eat, and I think as long as they can control what Derek's doing in the run game, and they play, you know, sometimes the Ravens struggle with that too. I think that's what hurt them last year. They struggle with what type of team they want to be. I think Russell has fallen in love with the idea. Sometimes he wants to prove to everybody that he's this great pocket passing quarterback. When you don't have to be that. Be who you are. Be true. Be the player. Be the reason. Be that player that why the Ravens drafted you to be. They didn't draft you to sit back in the pocket and throw for 5,000 yards. They drafted you to be a playmaker, and he needs to shut out the noise, and allow that running game to do what it do, and open up the passing game like it's been doing. And sometimes they come out, they all spread out, and they're like they don't want to come out and give people the run. Man, look, run the ball right at them. Run the ball right at them. Set the tempo early. Get physical up front, and run the ball right at them. And then let the game slowly come to you from a passing standpoint. They should be the highest play action team in the NFL, as far as I'm concerned. Like
Who the
they should be running
Ravens?
play action. Yes, they should be, because again, Lamar should be a running threat on every passing play, especially when he play action. And the same thing with Derrick Henry. As long as he's in the game, he should be a run threat, especially third and short, shoot, third and six. They have the ability to go forward on fourth downs. So I'm not understanding that sometimes they struggle with their identity. And Lamar has passed the ball exceptional this year. I'm not going to take that away from him. Probably still leading the league in passing touchdowns. Uh, but I just hope that come the playoff time, they don't divert away from what got them there.
What got him?
Right now,
Absolutely.
Derrick Henry's on pace to do something that we ain't never seen before. Breaking the single season rusher record. And like I don't if they hopefully they just keep feeding them, and they got a three-headed monster now. They got Keaton Mitchell back. They got Justice Hill, who they like to put in on third downs, who's a playmaker. And obviously their primary back is Derrick Henry, and Derrick like to get out there and catch some balls too. So hopefully they stick to what got them there and
Pause.
keep the hey, hopefully they keep feeding Derek and letting him do what he do. But I just hope that they don't divert away from it in the playoffs, because they're gonna have to go through a couple squads over there for real.
Yeah. Hopefully Derrick ain't catching too many balls.
Pause.
My man, shoot. Well, man, we like to thank you for coming on, Will, and giving us your take. I knew you were gonna talk because you always talk. That's my dog. You can't shut this boy up at all.
Hey, you know
Let
I'm
me
a
know what
talker.
y'all think in the chat, fellas. Hey, like, subscribe, and follow, and get at us, man. We're gonna bring you back on again, Will.
I
I'm
appreciate it.
gonna
Look
bring you
forward to it,
on.
man.
with the rest of the crew and let you go at them because ATL on one right now, and I need somebody to come help me bring them back down to earth.
Oh, for sure,
So,
for sure.
all right, that's it, y'all. Stay tuned. We out.
All right.
We ain't going here.